definitely looking. They say that no stunt is too big for them to try and meet Mr. Right.
Not yet.
If I'm wrong on any of this, correct me. They go to airports, hardware stores, yacht clubs, fire stations.
Fire stations.
Oh, the best.
Fire stations are the best.
Fire stations are great.
And they'll... I always thought so. And they'll even try churches, temples, and synagogues to meet Mr. Right.
Nice guy.
Now,
Try it all.
obviously, you wouldn't be here if it was working. It's not working, right?
No, it's not.
Mary,
it's not.
you say you stop at nothing to find the right guy, and you joined the Air Force to meet men.
Yes, I did,
Can you
Sally.
explain that?
Well, I thought the best way to have a big selection of men and find Mr. Right, I would join the military. Instead of just becoming, I would get involved. Get involved and meet Mr. Right, especially a man in a uniform. Oh, come on, you know, there's so many to choose from in the military.
So what happened?
So I joined the Air Force, but you know what? I dated quite a bit, actually. I met a lot of men. No Mr. Rights. I could not find one.
So you left the service?
Oh, well, I got a discharge, but, you know, I could not find it.
Okay. And what were you discharged for?
Can't tell you.
Why not the Navy?
No. It was an honorable discharge.
Oh, it was an honorable discharge. Mary and Sandy recently drove 2 hours to crash the Republican National Convention because they thought this would be a good hunting ground. Okay, why not the Democrat convention?
Well,
souvenirs.
number one, the Republican convention was much closer.
Okay, that's a good reason. All right.
And truly, we only went down there to absorb the atmosphere, the environment. But once we saw the selection on the outside, we knew the hot hunting ground was on the inside.
So how'd you get in?
Oh,
we begged.
Trick. It was a trick.
We begged our way in.
But it was worth it. It was worth it to find Mr. Right.
Did you find anybody in there?
We met a lot of nice gentlemen. Not Mr. Right, but we made a lot of contacts.
But you know what, Sally? I'm not even voting for Bob Dole. I'm not even a Republican. I'm a Democrat. To meet Mr. Right. I even went to a Republican convention to find Mr. Right.
See that? You have done some wild things yourself, Sandy. You rented a house that was too expensive for you?
Yes.
Why? And where was it?
It was in Huntington Beach. Fabulous house. We stumbled upon it at a great party. A bachelor was throwing a big bash with all of his bachelor friends, and we wanted to be a part of it. And fortunately, we noticed a for-lease sign right next door as we were leaving.
Took 33. She's a divorced mother of an 8-year-old son. I can't believe this. You actually pretended to drown?
Yes, I did.
I've done that.
Sally, what can I say? He was beautiful, the lifeguard.
The lifeguard
He was sitting up on the
beautiful.
tower all day, and I was trying to get his attention. I said, you know, the only thing that's going to work is if I drown. So I started pretending. Unfortunately,
happened?
well, I took in a little bit too much water, and he had to jump in because I started choking. So he pulled me out and gave me mouth to mouth, and we had a couple days.
Are you still dating him?
Occasionally. But he's not Mr. Right, you know?
He's not
He's
Mr.
somebody to
Right.
have fun with. And
You went all the way to Alaska, 5,000 miles
Yes,
to
I
meet
did.
a guy. What kind of guy?
I answered an ad in the Alaskan Men magazine. And
I know that magazine.
We seemed to hit it off. I mean, he was so nice. He had a wonderful job and a nice house and a nice car, and I mean, very polite. Everything. There was just no spark. I went there. I spent 3 weeks. We went hiking and biking, but there was just nothing there. We turned out to be good friends. But I did happen to get a couple more phone numbers before I left. So
You really put your life on the line when it came to trying to meet another man. You went parasailing.
yes, I'm paranoid of heights. I am so afraid of heights. And a girlfriend and I went to the Bahamas, and we were sitting on the beach with our chairs in the water, having a couple of Bahama mamas and relaxing. And we kept watching this guy come up in the boat, and he was smiling and waving at us. And after a couple of those drinks, I felt like the Bahama mama. I went over, and no fear. I said, okay, yeah, let's go. And I got to talk to him, and he hooked me in the harness. And the next thing I knew, I was 150 feet in the air and throwing up. Let me know. I was dying. They had to bring me down.
That'll sober you up real quick.
Oh, yeah, it did,
hanging
real
up
quick.
there. You say that being a
Yeah,
single
very.
mom makes it hard to meet Mr. Right.
Well, it does, because a lot of people don't want a package deal, which is fine with me, because if they don't want a package,
Then you
then
don't want
I
them.
don't want them, exactly. It just kind of...
Experiences.
Yes, I did. It was,
Can you tell us about some of them?
well, I had read magazine articles, and they said, well, try the personal ads, and I wanted to get kind of back into meeting people and dating. So I thought, well, I'll give it a shot. So the first one I had answered was, the man said he was the domineering type, and so I thought it was more like he was opinionated, or, that's the way I thought, so.
Yeah, I would think
You
that.
know, and he says, no, I meant, he goes, I'm domineering in like the sexual sense, S&M. And I said, oh, And he says,
So domineering S&M domineering, not human being
no.
domineering.
So he said his favorite thing to do was to put a dog collar on his partner and lead him from room to room. Then the second one, he was a real gem too. He had been married twice, and him and his former wife had belonged to a swingers club. And he had membership in it and everything, and he didn't feel comfortable going by himself now, so he wanted a new partner to be able to go back to the swingers club. So I told him, no, that wasn't it either.
That's number two.
That's
You're
number
hitting,
two.
you're batting
boy,
1,000
I'm
in
doing great.
there, girlfriend.
The third one was, he sounded really nice on the phone, and we met for pop before I had to go to work one night. And he said that, we talked about the movies and stuff again, and then he proceeded to tell me that if that's what I was looking for, he wasn't it. Because he already had a living girlfriend. But he wanted to have a few hours of hot sex while she was at work. Okay.
This was an ad that you answered?
Yes.
He had a
No,
living girlfriend?
4 ads.
4 ads. This is
Four
number
ads.
four.
Gina.
What kind of man has a living girlfriend and is
did.
putting out ads?
A lot. A lot.
Wow.
That's what we're
A
talking
lot.
about, Sally. That's why we're still single.
Stay out of the paper.
All right. The next
Number
one.
5 was, the gem of all of them was this one that was half
40 years old, says she's been looking in the personals for a good man to spend the rest of her life with. Before we hear about her personal ad horror stories, you became a flight attendant.
Yes, I did.
To get a guy. Mm-hmm. How long did that last, and who were the guys that you were attending while you were flighting?
Well, a lot of old men just loved me. It was, I'd walk on the plane and you'd get phone numbers from older than my father. I said, this
Yeah.
is not what I want. This is not what I want. But I had met a very interesting fellow in Miami. It was my first time in Miami, and I was right out of school, and it was an experience for me, and I thought this would be great. It was hot, it was sunny, he was fabulous. We met at a mutual place called the Coconut Grove, which is, to me,
Right.
I thought it was going to be cool. So we went there. He pulled up in a black Maserati. Already I thought, okay, I'm a flight attendant. I love this job.
One flight.
Yeah, one flight. He pulls up black Maserati. Out comes this total GQ, fabulous looking guy. Black leather pants, white linen shirt, black hair. I thought, this is it. This is it. So we talked a little bit. We decided to go back to the hotel that I was staying in because I had a layover that night, and we. No. We
Rule
just.
number 413.
No. We had a drink at the hotel to get to know each other more. That's all. And I did. I found out. Listen. He decided. I asked him what he did, and he said to me, "I'm a drug dealer." And I asked him again. I said,
He gets 20 for honesty.
I'm a drug dealer, for real. I mean, that was the last Miami trip I made, and I thought, forget it, this is it.
Well,
Needless to
maybe
say,
he's joking.
no, he was.
A drug dealer wouldn't tell you he was a drug
happy.
dealer.
He was proud of it. I was not impressed. I mean, come on.
I can imagine.
So I decided, forget that. I mean, I was a flight attendant for a year. That didn't last long.
She has been traveling all over the country in a quest to find Mr. Right. She says she's going to keep going till she meets her match. Nancy says she meets most of the men through a singles club for retired people. Is that true?
Yes, that's very true, Sally.
But you've met characters.
I've met all sorts of interesting, fascinating, fabulous men. And if anybody right now has got a big RV, I've got the Jeep and the tow bar, and we can go traveling.
Well, wait a minute. One of these guys liked to strut around in the nude.
Absolutely. All he wanted to do, he thought he was the perfect physique. He thought he had the perfect body. And he didn't want to wear any clothes unless he was outside. Well, between his naked body and his big dog that laid down all the time. Sally, I want to tell you the best one of all was the RV story. You know, as I said, I like RVs, and this man drove hundreds of miles to meet me, and I met him not at my home but somewhere else.
Good.
I don't want people to see my home unless I want them to.
Sure.
So I met him at a prearranged place, and he had a beautiful RV. He was a very nice-looking man, and we sat and chatted in his RV for a while, and after about an hour, he said to me, "Let me show you around this RV. I want to show you what it looks like." And we, wind up first thing in the bedroom. And
I think going to some making extreme efforts to meet Mr. Right. Are they doing what's right?
No. Well,
What are they doing wrong?
We wrote this book, The Rules, okay? And we really commend them. First of all, they're all gorgeous, and they're
Yeah.
all really trying. I'll tell you, they've got in this book we say, be a creature unlike any other, and they've kind of got that down pat. They all look great. But other than that, they're doing everything else in the book wrong, like rule 2 through, it's all wrong.
Let's start with rule number 2. You say don't talk to a man first.
Right. If you're in the
I thought men like friendly women.
Well, that's what, they're all talking to men first, and they're on the show because they haven't met Mr. Right, so perhaps we can speak.
Okay, why do you not... Wait. Why do you not talk to a man first?
Because when you talk to a man first, you're initiating a relationship. If he's not interested
Oh my God. Oh my God. Now look, we all... Sally.
All right. Rule number 5. Don't ever call him and rarely return his phone call.
Yeah.
That's good.
Why?
If you call a man, he knows that you like him, and he just he won't find you challenging. Men love a challenge.
Always end the phone calls first.
Always. 10 minutes.
You're hard to get.
You have to.
You're not easy to get. You're hard to get. Men love a challenge. That's why they like cocaine. That's why they like bungee jumping.
This is 41-year-old Craig. He's been single for 3 years since his divorce. He was so frustrated with the dating scene. He put himself in a national catalog of single men called The Bachelor Book.
No.
We have Chris, who's 32, never married, and says he's a nice guy. Thank you. That was good. He is seeking Miss Right, and he says the reason he doesn't get the girl is he's too nice. Please meet the last of our single men. This is Michael O'Hearn. He is the celebrity Topaz Man. He's been featured on the cover of Topaz, Romances by Penguin.
These men know already who they like. Just ask them.
Wait. By the way, he was Mr. Universe 3 times, and he is the current Mr. World. Okay. What is it you wanted me to ask
These women
them?
are not supposed to now do anything. You see, now the rules are over for them. They've showed up, they bought beautiful outfits, they look beautiful. Now it's up to these men to pick who they like. If they pick who they like, they're all like little whispering between themselves.
Oh, please, give me
a
break.
It will not work.
Book called Finding True Love. You've heard Ellen and Sherry talk about a list of rules. I thought most of them were pretty good, but what do you think?
I think that these rules are for people who want to snag a man and not have a real relationship. And I wrote a book called Finding True Love. Because if you want real love, you need to be real. And
that's what our men were saying.
The clue in this experience is women who are desperate to find Mr. Right. If you are desperate, you're not going to find Mr. Right. If you are willing to get, I am very much in love. I don't consider marriage to be the ultimate statement.
Okay, people that want to get married, do the rules. We have real relationships with our husbands.
Yeah, we get married.
Okay. Wait a minute.
We can get the fun of these women.